Zoom tight.
Thank you.
That ties in nicely to my safety topic. So thank you. So this is the meeting where Crystal's going to present a little bit about our SBE program for the Elati Rail Training Center, which has a 15% SBE goal. The RFP number is 126DR001. And we'll just start with the safety minute. It is still cold and flu season. I just saw yesterday on the news that Colorado is in the highest, among the highest states or levels of cold and flu. So make sure to wash your hands, avoid surfaces where possible, or avoid touching surfaces where possible, and get your flu shot if you haven't already. So with that, I will hand it over to Crystal to give a presentation on our SBE program.
Thank you. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen, at least attempt to do so. So please let me know. Do you see it?
We do.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Oops. Well, there we go. All right. So Patrick, thank you very much. I am Crystal Kirkland, and I'm the compliance officer that will be overseeing the SBE portion of this contract. I know Ignacio is on the call as well, so he's the project manager. So thank you for joining with that. So I'm going to just go over some of the important information that is tied to this contract, since it does have a 15% SBE goal. We have found about 200 firms that have SBE certification that we believe could be utilized in this contract. So I really am optimistic that the 15% is very attainable. However, if you cannot meet that 15%, another way to meet that goal is through your good faith efforts. So two ways to meet the goal is hitting the 15% or exceeding it with RTD SBE certified firms, or City and County of Denver SBE certified firms, or submitting the good faith efforts enclosure that is at the end of this presentation. And Patrick or Ignacio, if there's a question or a raised hand, will you stop me, because I cannot see that portion?
Yes, there is one raised hand.
Already?
Yes.
Okay. I guess we can go to that. Let's see. Keith, do you have something?
Yes. Did I hear you correctly? City and County of Denver certifications work as well?
Yes, that will be. Just a little inside scoop. Eventually that is going away, but because of the timing of this solicitation, they are included.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So it is very important to pay attention to this section, as if you don't include certain of these enclosures, you will be deemed non-responsible. I think we made it pretty clear. We did have the advantage of having a lot of firms there yesterday, and I'm going to believe that most everybody that's going to be filling out that solicitation is here on that line. But if not, please let them know that this presentation is posted on OpenGov. Thank you for doing that already, Patrick. And then also the recorded session will also be posted on OpenGov. So who is ever putting the proposal together, please point them in this direction, because I would hate for you guys to lose out because of a simple enclosure. So here is a list of all of the enclosures. This is included in the contract, so just look for this section within your contract. It's usually towards the end. Here is our enclosure A. This is acknowledgement of the percentage of the SBE participation and indicates the intent of complying, what your company is going to be complying with. So you can see the top section is you understand that we have a 15%. And then if your company is called ABC and you want to commit to 16%, you would put it in the next little section, fill out your business information, and make sure to get that notarized. Okay, yep, all of that repetitiveness. Enclosure 1B is the prime affidavit. So if you are an SBE firm wanting to perform as the prime, you would fill this out. If you are not an SBE, then you don't need to fill out this enclosure. Enclosure 2 is the schedule of SBE participation. This is a summary of all of the SBEs that you plan to utilize within this contract. Make sure to include, some basic information, their company name, what the price that you agreed to pay them. Also, make sure to include your proposal price as well at the very top. And then make sure that you include their scopes of work and the next code that is associated with that scope. So make sure they all match. Something that's really important when filling out your enclosure 2s and 3s is that if you're buying supplies, only a certain amount of percentage could be applied to it. If they manufacture that product, you get 100%. However, if they have a storefront or a warehouse, you get 60%. A distributor, meaning that I'm going to just give an example, right? The distributor carries shirts, but they also can supply some socks and you want to buy socks from them, you would only get 40%. A broker doesn't have a warehouse or any inventory on hand. And if that's the case, you only get credit for their markup fee. On your enclosure 2 and 3, make sure to include the 100% of what you're going to be spending with them, and our office will do the math on our end. This enclosure 2B is for open-ended performance plan, which is not applicable for you guys. So you will not need to fill out that enclosure. Enclosure 3, this form must be completed by all prime contractors and must be submitted with your proposal. So this is an individual letter of intent with each of your SBEs. So it's kind of a runoff of enclosure 2. So everybody that you have enclosure 2, you should also have an enclosure 3. So if you have 7 enclosure 2s, you should have 7 enclosure 3s. Again, it's going to be signed by you and your SBE of your choosing with the total contract amount is there. Please make sure that what you sign with them is it's contractual, right? You cannot just terminate, remove, or substitute without RTD SBO approval. So keep that in mind as well. Enclosure 4, this slide must be completed by all bidders and proposers, even if you don't select one of the subcontractors, but they did submit a proposal, you will need to provide this information as well. So we kind of look at if you have 3 SBEs included and I only get 3 enclosure 4s, it kind of is a red flag, and we might come back to you and say, hey, did you only have 3 people bid with you? So make sure to include that, as everybody that bid to be a subcontractor should have an enclosure 4.
And Crystal, you have another question.
Oh, sure.
It's me again.
Hi, Keith.
Hi, Crystal. If you could go back one slide.
This one.
Correct. When you were describing this one, you mentioned enclosure 2 and 3 the number of them need to match.
Yes.
However, enclosure 2 looked like a list.
Correct. So on the list, if you have 7 subcontractors, then I need 7 enclosure 3s.
Correct.
So this enclosure 2 is a summary of everybody. And then enclosure 3 is a breakdown. So I apologize if I misspoke, but yes, if you have 2 SBE firms, then I need 2 enclosure 3s.
Okay, I think I understand it. So
Okay.
on enclosure 2, it looked like there were 4 rows available on that enclosure. And if I read that enclosure correctly, we can photocopy it and use multiple forms of it. If we
Yes,
have
if
more
you're
than
going to
4.
have it, yes, exactly. If you're going to have additional SBEs that won't fit on the provided form, please make additional copies to,
Correct.
yeah,
So
yep.
understanding that correctly, we need to have the total number of partners, SBE partners in enclosure 3. So we have 8 of them. We need 8 enclosure 3s.
That is correct.
1 for each contractor.
Yep, so
Correct.
each subcontractor or each SBE should have a signature page, and this is their signature page saying, yes,
Okay.
we agree to do general contracting for $400,000, and you both sign
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Okay, very
Is that only for SBE firms?
that is correct.
Okay, so if we have non-SBE firms that are part of our team,
You
but
do
we
not have to have them submit that, but you do
Okay.
have to have them submit this enclosure.
So we have
Your
to have
enclosure
enclosure 4 for every single subcontractor that quotes the project.
That is correct. So my recommendation is if somebody's trying to bid, if you have a bid packet or a proposal packet, have this enclosure included in that bid packet so they can provide that for you.
Think?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Are we good? So just to
Yes, ma'am.
clarify, SBEs only on enclosure 3, all proposers on enclosure 4. All right, so
And we have one more question. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
okay, no.
Tim?
Yeah. Real simple question. Is this, I'm not seeing this document as a download yet. Is it available now? Or, I mean, I haven't looked in like an hour and a half.
So this, you mean this presentation or the enclosures?
The enclosures.
The enclosures, there's a link in the RFP. So if you scroll down, if you kind of just do Control F for find and hit SBE, you'll find it. And then there's a direct link to our RTD website, but I can show you how to get there too at the end of this presentation.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Enclosure 5, so the prime needs to fill this out if they have 50 or more employees, or if you have, if the contract is worth $50,000 or more, or if the subcontractors are worth $50,000, then they will need to fill this out as well. Enclosure 6, this is kind of bragging rights for the primes. This is an opportunity to show that you really do outreach for your small businesses. You attend galas or certain chambers you go to or sponsoring. So make sure to fill this out, especially if your company does do anything like this. If you are going to submit a good faith, meaning you're not going to hit your 15%, I highly recommend that this is filled out pretty well because we will do some investigation on this form as well. So yes. And then your enclosure 7. So again, if you're not going to hit your 15%, you're going to need to fill out your enclosure 7 for your good faith efforts. It is required and it is extremely important that this enclosure is filled out properly. Keep in mind, as I said, when we put a goal assessment on this, we feel like it's extremely attainable. However, if your company is not able to meet that goal, I recommend you reference 49 CFR section 26.53, and that outlines what the bidder must do to be deemed responsive. But in this, please make sure to include your call logs, individual emails. We're not, to be deemed responsive, we're not going to accept a mass email to 500 SBE firms. We want to see that you actually made contact with them, and that they, you know, a reason why they weren't selected or they didn't propose a bid, something of that nature. So make sure it's filled out. And like I said, we'll really investigate enclosure 6 as well. And then I'm going to stop this presentation, but I will show you how to get to the SBE. So in order to access all of the enclosures and the SBE contract requirements, you go to rtd-denver.com. Like I said, this is in the the RFP as well, but you can say doing business with RTD, and it says DBE/SBE information. And scroll down, and right here it says SBE contract requirements. So in here is 50 pages of interesting read, so feel free to do that. Or you can do directly to your SBE enclosures, which are all of the ones that I was explaining. And then if you need additional SBE 2A and 3, because then you can go ahead and click in this as well. And that is everything. Do we have any more questions or concerns? Also, please know that all questions should be submitted with OpenGov. So if you have any more questions, official questions, please feel free to answer them. I know Patrick's pretty amazing at answering those, and he'll send them over to us so we can get those answered for you as well. But
He is very
anything
good
else?
at it.
I'm sorry?
Quick question. He is very good at it.
Yeah.
Question. How much, as a certified general contractor, how much of our supervision counts?
If you're an SBE,
Yes,
that requires your proposal.
I don't understand.
Well, if it depends on how much of the percentage your supervision will be allocated in your cost analysis, your breakdown of your contract.
I would assume our general conditions that we're carrying in our proposal would, that dollar value would go towards that goal. Is that correct? If we have a $100,000 bid and we're carrying $10,000 of general conditions, then that would count towards 10% of the goal. I believe is where Keith was going with it, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not. Why don't we submit that question to OpenGov?
Okay.
Okay.
I will.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, Crystal. That was a fantastic presentation. And just to follow up, section 7 of the contract, there's like a context checklist, and that is where there'll be a section 7 1.12 has a link to those enclosures as well. So yes.
Thank you, Patrick.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have. It was short and sweet. We can give everyone 12 minutes back of their time. Ignacio, do you have anything that you would like to add?
No, thank you for joining. I think we have all the answers to the questions that were asked yesterday, maybe except for one, right, Patrick?
Yes, I believe so.
All right. So good luck. And pay attention to what Crystal said. That's very important.
Thank you, Ignacio.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
okay. All right. Well,
luck.
everyone have a blessed day, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.